Conversations Over Tea by Arissa May. Chapter 4. Conversation 4. Uncle Ping! Captain Huang Ho was not sure what he had expected when he realized that the drafted soldiers representing the Li family had been assigned to his division. He had, of course, wondered if they were any relation to either of the generals Li that he had studied about when he had been learning military history. Both had featured prominently, as General Li Shang had triumphed at the Battle of Chrysanthemum Valley against all odds, and General Li Shang had, after his father had fallen, triumphed against the Hun at the Tongchao Pass. He also recalled vaguely that General Li Shang had apparently had something to do with the woman of legend, Fa Mulan, who had somehow won the emperor's favor. But as a man only interested in serious history with real heroes, as opposed to propaganda figures, he had never really been all that interested in tracking down the details of that particular episode. So when he had learned that there were two young men from the Li family who had joined his division in answer to the latest call by the emperor, Captain Huang had wondered if it was possible that they were possibly related to the generals Li. Perhaps, he thought a little giddily, they were even Li Shang's sons! After all, they were roughly the correct age. Twins who had reportedly recently celebrated their 19th birthdays. Captain Huang was fairly sure that meant that they were in the right generation. It wasn't that Li was exactly an uncommon name, but Captain Huang was doomed to be disappointed. Soon after Li Kung and Li Kong joined his men, he overheard one of the other men asking them exactly what he himself wanted to know. Who was their father? The slightly taller twin, Kong, answered that their father was Li Dequan, as his slightly thinner brother, Kun, stuffed his face with rice. Oh, the blind flute player who was good enough to perform at the emperor's court, one of the others asked. Yes, Kong said, the pride in his father's accomplishment clear in his voice. He worked hard to accomplish his skill, and since playing for the emperor, his dedication to his craft has paid off. Captain Huang stopped listening then, trying to hide how his shoulders drooped. His hopes had been thwarted. Oh well, having come to terms with his disappointment, Captain Huang was, rather justifiably, he thought, rather startled at how well the two brothers did in training. Indeed, they were some of his very best soldiers. They were tough, disciplined, unfailingly polite, and proved to be, if not the best, then at least very competent at every task he asked of them in training. Something that was becoming increasingly clear was that these were not the raw recruits that he had been expecting. Captain Huang was not the only one to notice that the twins seemed to be finding the training almost suspiciously easy. Oi, Kun, what gives? A somewhat squat soldier with sideburns demanded after the deceptively willowy-looking Kun managed to dump him on his back for the third time in hand-to-hand. Kun cocked his head innocently. What, Roo? He asked as he gave the man a hand up out of the dirt. Roo growled. You know what I mean. As a runt like you managed to put me on my butt time after time. Kun grinned. Oh, just a couple of moves that my Uncle Ping showed me. Uncle Ping always says that the trick to winning a fight when you're not built like a blacksmith is half about leverage. Roo snorted. Well, the man must be onto something because you're built like a girl, he grumbled. Captain Huang readied himself to break up a possible fight in response to the insult, but to his surprise, instead of taking offense, Kun burst out laughing. What's so funny? Kong, who had been practicing nearby, called out, he too having dropped his opponent again. Share the joke! Kun continued to snicker. I apparently fight like a girl, he told his brother. Kong looked from Roo to Kun, and back again, and raised his eyebrows, but Captain Huang could detect a slight twitch of amusement on the man's lips. Not noticing this, Roo saw that he had the attention of the larger of the Li twins and bailed. Oh, hold on, I never said that! Roo protested. I said that you were built like a girl and you kept winning, so you must have learned your Uncle Ping's fighting techniques really good. Kun and Kong stared at Roo, looked at each other, and dissolved into helpless guffaws. "Wait, we'll pass on your compliments to Uncle Pink," gasped Kong, practically falling over laughing. Kun, on the other hand, was rolling in the dirt, holding his stomach. "Oh, my sides!" "It's ain't the both of you," declared Rue, before stalking away, bewildered. No matter how many times people asked the twins to share the joke, neither of them explained. Still, Captain Huang supposed that if nothing else, the incident gave a partial explanation for why it was that the sons of a flute player, albeit one whose skills were good enough for the emperor, were doing so well in training. He had never heard of a Li Ping, though. He remarked as much to his lieutenant, a surly but dependable man named Yao, who was old enough to have fought in the last conflict. Yao's expression at this remark was uncharacteristic. Indeed, for a moment, Captain Huang was concerned that his lieutenant was suffering from some manner of stroke.
"So wait, did you just say that those Liamoys say that they have an Uncle Ping?"
Lieutenant Yao finally managed to say once his mouth started forming actual words. Captain Huang nodded. Apparently he taught them hand to hand, and probably other things going by how well they are doing. Captain Yao swore long and colorfully, but his face was doing something Captain Huang had never seen before. Lieutenant Yao was beaming.
"Hold that thought, Captain."
He turned on his heel and left his superior officer gaping after him. Curiosity thoroughly piqued, Captain Huang followed after his oddly chipper subordinate, who was striding towards the campfire where the Li brothers sat back to back drinking tea.
"Oi, Li 1 and Li 2. Did I just hear correctly? You two are the nephews of a guy named Ping."
Yao asked them as Captain Huang hung back a little, well within earshot, but not quite close enough for the firelight to clearly outline his features. Kun shrugged, but his eyes were crinkling at the corners as he hid his expression behind his teacup. "Yes, we have an uncle named Ping," Kong confirmed, looking half over his brother's shoulder. "What of it?"
"Did your uncle,"
Yao emphasized a little oddly,
"ever tell you about his old war buddy Yao?"
"King of the Rock?" Kun blurted out before slapping a hand over his mouth. At that odd statement, Yao's face reddened. If Captain Huang didn't know any better, he would have thought that Yao was embarrassed. But that notion was ridiculous. He had known Yao for a good 5 years, and as far as he knew, the man was unshockable. Kong cuffed his brother over the back of the head. "My brother meant no disrespect, sir," he said, bowing his head slightly. But then he ruined the effect by looking up through his bangs and grinning. "But suffice to say, yes, Uncle Ping might have told us a story or two in between teaching us how to fight." Yao snorted.
"What, did Shang lose a bet?"
Kung shook his head. "No, it was just after, He looked around and then obviously changed what he was about to say. "Uncle Ping was looking to get back into shape after Aunt Mulan gave birth to Cousin Ying, and Cousin Min was just old enough to start then, and we were visiting, and Uncle Ping said that Uncle Shang was better with rank beginners, so Uncle Shang was teaching Min, and Ping was teaching us. Uncle Shang taught us archery, though," he babbled. Yao chuckled and sat down next to them.
"Fair enough. Your uncle was definitely always the better archer."
His eyes glinted suddenly.
"Probably because Ping always had arms like a girl."
The brothers both snickered into their tea at that, and Captain Huang was starting to think that he might be missing something. "You say that," Kong replied, "but you should see Min shoot. She puts the both of us to shame." Captain Huang blinked. Wait, their cousin Ming was a girl? Yao, rather than displaying the shock that Captain Huang was feeling at the notion of a girl practicing archery, merely continued to chuckle.
"I should have expected that."
Kun's grin widened suddenly. "Actually, you'll appreciate this story," and proceeded to regale Yao with the details of the conversation Captain Huang had witnessed during hand-to-hand training with the hapless Rue that had left both brothers practically rolling on the ground laughing. By the end of the story, Yao was crying with laughter. Captain Huang still didn't get the joke.